unless I see in his hands the mark of the nails, and place my finger into the mark of the nails, and place my hand into his side, I will never believe. John 20 verse 25. Why does this single verse resonate with so many people? Why are the words of Thomas so relevant for us today? We are still asking the same questions as Thomas. Yet on that dark day, over 2,000 years ago, Jesus had died on the cross. Thomas, now alone in grief, trying to reconcile that his vibrant and inspirational teacher, Jesus, was now dead. The man who he had traveled the lands with, enjoyed meals and parties with, all the healing and miracles that he witnessed, all the lessons learned, and yet Thomas did not believe that Jesus had returned. Unable to grieve with the other apostles, unable to grieve in public, Thomas separated himself and hid away from the world. News of Jesus' resurrection spread. The apostles came to find Thomas and tried to convince him that Jesus in fact had returned, that everything Jesus had said would happen in fact had. Still, in the face of the excitement of his brothers, Thomas's heart and mind could not accept it. He needed hard evidence, physical proof. Right now, is that you? Do you continually fact-find until you reach a point of acceptance? In a world where it is getting harder and harder to know if it is real or fake, this is a very reasonable question. We are now surrounded with social media, fake news, then mix in the birth of incredible AI that can create real images and write a marketing plan for you. Sometimes you are not able to take anything at face value. Thomas, who was chosen by Jesus to become a disciple, left his old way of life and walked with Jesus. Thomas, all the while learning about the message Jesus was teaching. He witnessed many miracles. He witnessed Jesus casting out demons. But historically, this man would go on to be remembered by society as a doubter. But through his doubting, many deeper questions would go on to be answered. Now Thomas was not a timid man. He was actually known for his boldness in following Jesus despite the dangers and uncertainties. In the Gospel of John, when Jesus announced his intention to go to Bethany to raise Lazarus from the dead, despite the risks of persecution from the religious authorities, Thomas bravely said to the other disciples, "Let us also go, that we may die with him." This statement shows us Thomas' unwavering loyalty and courage to stand with Jesus, even in the face of potential danger. Yet when Thomas was not able to see or touch with his own eyes and hands, he found it hard to believe. Despite this, Thomas would go on to ask one of the most fundamental questions in terms of Christianity. Instead of doubting Thomas, should he not have been called truth-seeking Thomas? Welcome back to Biblical Chatter. Thank you for visiting again. If you enjoy our videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thomas asked many questions about everything, and he even had Jesus right in front of him. So never be afraid to ask questions. Raise your hand, text that question. Whatever it is, seek truth, because that is exactly how Thomas lived his life. After living daily with Jesus, it had now reached the point of the Last Supper. Earlier, Jesus had washed the disciples' feet, foretold that Peter would deny him 3 times, then to top it all off, that he would ultimately be betrayed by one of them. In that very room, the room would have been filled with a huge range of emotions. The disciples would have been concerned about everything. It is right now Jesus says to them, John 13 verse 14, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. You know the way to the place where I am going." This is the moment Thomas steps up for the group. He would not have been the only one who did not fully understand what Jesus had just said. Ever the intellectual fact-checker, Thomas asks, "Lord, we don't know where you are going, so how can we know the way?" Jesus would have smiled. Thomas had now allowed a deeper teaching moment. It is from this question that we have one of the great truths from Jesus. Jesus answered, "I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you really know me, you will know my Father as well. From now on, you do know him and have seen him." Through the constant questioning, we get the absolute answer. This can be said about many things in life. You need to ask and search for answers to allow you to move on. Without questioning, there is no growth. This now takes us to the time when Thomas is unfairly labeled a doubter. It is about 8 days after Jesus has risen, and all the disciples except Thomas have seen Jesus again. They have all experienced the joy of seeing their leader smiling and speaking with them. They had all gathered in an upper room. All the doors were locked. This was when Jesus appeared amongst them, in a special nod to Thomas. Not only was Jesus back, but he had entered a physical room, not using a door or window. Thomas would have been in absolute shock, for he would have instantly assessed the situation knowing the doors were locked. Staring at his teacher, Jesus simply said to him, "Peace be with you." John 20 verse 27 to 29. Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here. See my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe." Thomas said to him, "My Lord and my God." Then Jesus told him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." Jesus did not dismiss Thomas or look down on him for not believing before he had proof. He took time to provide Thomas with the proof. He knew all the concerns, questions, and problems that were plaguing Thomas. Jesus allowed Thomas in his own time to fully connect his heart and his mind to ultimately believe. The last statement from Jesus really applies to us. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. We are many generations past Jesus, yet this is exactly what we are asked to do. We may see glimpses of God working in our lives and in the lives of others, but there are many struggles during these times as well. Often it is not clear at the time, but on looking back we can see God's timing or work in our lives. We are not able to be like Thomas and see the physical wounds of Jesus. We must trust in the words of the Bible, prayer, prophecy, and your own personal relationship with Jesus. Thomas showed us to never fear asking questions, that Jesus is ready and willing to answer all of them. No question is too small or insignificant. His stories show us that it is okay to also have doubts, and that even if you doubt for a short time or a long time, Jesus does not reject us because of this. Our world is insanely different to that of the biblical era, and yet we are asked to simply believe the same way. But we live in almost a different world. We are now able to see into the furthest reaches of space, study black holes. Scientists have split the atom. We can take a photo and send it instantly to a family member on the other side of the world. And don't forget that billionaire American citizen Elon Musk is sending rockets into space. In the midst of the technological and scientific advancements of our time, the story of doubting Thomas inspires us to have faith even when we feel skeptical. It encourages us to seek a personal relationship with Jesus based on our own experiences with him. Don't hold on to the doubt or questions, because Jesus is ready and waiting to answer all of them, just as he did for Thomas.